welcome to the 4 Bells, and here we are doing workout from home number 104. Today, as we start week 4 of our squat cycle, easy for me to say, what we should be thinking about now is really trying to ramp it up in terms of the focus on mobility in movements. So that means if you're squatting, for example, we're trying to squat all the way down. If squatting is tough for you, we're really trying to take ownership of those ranges of motion. And if we've got a day like today, which is a squat-focused day, we should be trying to push those weights a little bit and really trying to challenge our squatting patterns. So today is a squat-focused day. We've got a big focus on heel-elevated squats, as well as some Bulgarian split squats in today's strength piece. So how do we start to get ourselves ready? We've got 3 things that we're going to do 3 times today. We're going to start off with a goblet squat, just kind of like a general benchmark to see how we're feeling in our squat. We're going to do that for 10 reps. From there, a little bit of a ninja move, but also tells us a lot about our ankle mobility in end range positions. We're going to do the deck squat for 10 reps. And then from there, everyone's favorite diagnostic tool for general mobility is the overhead squat. We're going to do that for 10 reps too. So we're going to do these 3 things 3 times in the warm-up today. And let's take a little look at those 3 fellows. So whether you have a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a slam ball, doesn't matter, we're going to be in a goblet position, which means, looks like we're drinking it from a goblet. I'm going to have that weight against my chest, and I'm trying to stay as upright as possible as I descend down into my squat. So it should be a nice, slow and controlled 10 reps of a goblet squat. When it comes to deck squats, we need a mat behind us and maybe a little weight as a counterbalance at first. So I'm going to squat down. As I squat down, I push the plate away, tuck the chin, I roll, I throw the plate, stick the landing, and stand up. So we squat, push away, tuck the chin, throw the plate, and stand up. Of course, if you can do it without a plate, fantastic. You might be a little body weight, would you? 10 reps of a deck squat. Overhead squat time, a great demonstration of general mobility. If you've got good mobility from your nose to your toes, you can do an overhead squat. So we take our PVC pipe, I'm going to put it into the crease of my hip, I extend those arms out till the elbows are locked out, bring that guy overhead. If I look up, it should be there waiting for me. I set my feet up into wherever I normally squat. Chest comes forwards as the hips come back. Pause at the bottom, and we stand back up. 10 delightful overhead squats in our 3-round warm-up. Today's strength piece means double quad action. That's the aim of the game today. We're going to look at some bilateral work with a little bit of an eccentric overload focus. We're going to look at some unilateral work as well as looking at not only stability, single leg strength, and mobility at the same time. So we're going to do 5 sets today. Each set is 3 minutes long, split into 2 90-second windows of time. In my first 90 seconds, we are going to be doing 10 cyclist front squats. That means any kind of front-loaded squat, could be barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever it happens to be. We're going to be doing 10 reps at a 3-0-XO tempo, which is a fancy way of saying we're going to really take our time on the way down, 3 seconds, and then we're going to explode up. If we can, with our cyclist squats today, and of course, we're going to demonstrate those in just a second. We're trying to get progressively heavier as the 5 sets go on. In our next 90 seconds, it will be Bulgarian split squats, in which we're going to do 8 on one leg and 8 on the other. So for a lot of people, when it comes to rear foot elevated split squats, which is the lengthier name of the Bulgarian split squat, really balance and stability are a huge factor. So if you can do them freestanding, fantastic. But if you can't, we can also hold on to something. So let's take a little bit of time talking about how both of these should look in the strength piece today. Our first exercise is cyclist front squats. So the purpose behind the cyclist squat is to elevate the heels. This takes ankle dorsiflexion kind of out of the picture together as a limiting factor for our squat, which means in turn we can get super low in our squats and get a lot of compression between hamstring and calf, which in turn means we get to overload the quads a whole bunch more. But what we should be thinking about when we're on our cyclist squat, this elevated platform shouldn't be excessively high. So I'm using a 45-pound plate in the gym, which is a bit shorter than my index finger. So again, it shouldn't be massive, this platform. About index finger-ish, give or take, and of course, play around with how it feels for you. When we're doing a front-loaded version of this, it really means that it could be barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever makes you feel good, but that front-loaded position means I'm trying to encourage that more vertical torso position. So we're working at a 30XO, which means 1, 2, 3, full squish of the joints at the bottom, and then we explode up. 1, 2, 3, and then we explode up. If we can, starting light and getting heavier as we go through our sets of cyclist squats. With the Bulgarian split squat, the longer, more fancy name is rear foot elevated split squat. And you can really elevate the foot to any height that feels comfortable for you, but it's really usually dependent on hip mobility and flexibility, because when we're in this rear foot elevated position, to some degree, I'm going to be in hip extension, basically in the splits with my leg behind me, and hip flexion with my leg out in front of me. So depending on how flexible your hips are, that's going to dictate the height of the box or bench that you're going to use. For me, I'm quite happy with something that is about knee height. Nothing wrong with that there. So how do I get set up? I need to be approximately the length of my shin away from the bench. So for me, that's about 1, 2, 3 foot lengths. I bring the toe back onto the bench, keeping the torso nice and upright. I'm focusing on the back knee headed towards the wall behind me. So back knee comes back, and then I drive back up, controlling that position. If you find this is very difficult and you want to hold on to something, grab a post, grab the wall, grab a bookshelf, whatever is fine. From there, if you find body weight very manageable, you can hold the weight ipsilaterally, contralaterally, bilaterally, any kind of the laterals that work well for you. We're going to do 8 reps on our weaker leg first, and then 8 reps on our stronger leg. In today's conditioning piece, we have ourselves a 12-minute EMOM. EMOM stands for, if you don't know by now, every minute on the minute. So it implies the beginning of each minute where we hear the beep go, the buzzer go, we're trying to get our work done not only as fast as possible, but as beautifully as possible. So fast and crappy reps are not necessary today, it should be beautiful each time. We've got these 3 1-minute stations that we're going to repeat 4 times in our EMOM today. What we're looking for, as you can see, we've got dumbbell thrusters in minute number 1. We've then got squat thrusts, different type of thrusting in a different direction. And then from there, we've got some ball slamming or some shin grabber sit-ups. And you'll notice for all 3, we have this rep range of 10 to 15. Of course, that rep range is going to be dictated by a few things. In the dumbbell thruster is how heavy are my weights. If you've only got super heavy dumbbells, you're going to find it's probably going to slow you down a little bit. Maybe you should be looking at 10 rather than 15. But of course, the opposite is true. Light dumbbells might equal more reps. With the squat thrust, what we need to think about is my ability to transition up and down smoothly. If that's tough for you, you might find that 10 reps is a better option, but of course if you're a ninja, 15 might be good for you. When it comes to the ball slam, the rules are the same. If you've only got a giant boulder of a ball to slam, 10 reps, and of course if you've got something light, or maybe you're doing shin grabbers, 15 might be an option. Either way, what I would say is, we want to get this work done in 45 seconds or less. And if you can't, we need to bring those reps down or the weight down a little bit. Let's take a look at these 3 chappies. With the dumbbell thruster, we are going to have our dumbbells resting on our shoulders, elbows up slightly so we don't round forwards. We set ourselves up, abs nice and tight, deep squat. We use that leg drive to drive the dumbbells overhead and back to the shoulders. Squat, overhead, back to the shoulders. Get 10 to 15 done as quick as you can. The squat thrust, very simple. I do a squat, hands down, feet out, feet in, stand up. I'm just trying to make sure I don't have a soggy plank. Squat, hands out, I don't want to be flopping myself down. Trying to keep that plank nice and rigid as we get 10 to 15 done as quick as you can. With the ball slam, we are trying to replicate aggressive hip flexion, which means I'm slamming the tire with my sledgehammer. I'm chopping the tree down with my axe. I'm trying to come overhead, bring those hips down explosively. That's what I'm trying to do in my ball slam. Of course, if you don't have a ball to slam, you can also grab a mat and get into a little shin grabber action, which means from here, heels on the floor, hands on the floor, we explode up, grabbing shins and some aggressive hip flexion. So that was workout from home, number 104. Enjoy yourself, have some fun with some front squatting in a cyclist fashion, some Bulgarian split squats, and of course our 12-minute EMOM. Let us know how you go.